Recapping my swing trade of Westwater Resources Inc., ticker symbol WWR. I'm missing a few screenshots of the days that I purchased into the stock, but going to talk us through it. So this is showing the 26th. This is a Tuesday, and I got into the stock on the Friday previous, and I started taking screenshots once it got over me, because usually when I get into a stock and it's not doing much, I kind of just let it sit, and I don't really pay attention to it until it is making any movement upward. But on that Friday previous, I did buy into the stock. I got one just because I want to keep it on my positions and just to keep an eye on it. Sometimes when I have it on my watch list, I forget about it. So I did get one, and then I purchased 5, purchased 2, 7, and then 4, all at various prices, but that did average me at 19 shares at 6,899. So 690 essentially. So that's my position going into the 26th, that Tuesday. When it did pop over me, that's when I did start to take some screenshots. With that big pop, I wanted to see if it was the high of the day, and I scrolled back and it was approaching the high of the day. So the high of the day was 737, and with that previous shot, it was at 733. So I wanted to see if it was going to clear it. And once it did clear the high of the day, I wanted to see where that next line of resistance was. So at 767 currently on this screenshot, it did clear the previous high, and I was just going back and forth between some daily charts and as well as my 5 and 2-minute charts. Back on the 5-minute chart, kept going. No pullback here, and I was starting to get a little cautious because at 770, I was expecting it to close around that $8 mark. Usually the dollar marks are a big line of resistance. And so I was starting to think about where I was going to start selling. 787. And this is where I started to sell. Sometimes I like to just collect my profits, and if it does approach the dollar mark, and sometimes if it gets too far away from these lines of trends, the 5, 10, and 20, and the 200, I decide that I'm going to sell because I don't want it to fall too far back down. Let's see what I did. Looking at that daily chart with the big green arrow of that day, it did clear that previous high right in the middle, and I was trying to see where it was going. It, to me, looked like it was hitting a line of resistance right around on that left side of my screenshot, around that 10 moving average. So that's where I did decide to sell. I sold 9 first because I like my round numbers. So I sold 9 at 788, and then I finished selling the last 10 at 771 when it did come down. So this screenshot's taken after I sold out of my position. I sold on that red bar because it did come down. It hit that 5 moving average and it did shoot back up. Unfortunately, I did not ignore that red bar because I was getting a little impatient on this day. I wanted to get out of my position. I'm not sure why, but sometimes with a small account, I kind of just want to take my profits as quickly as I can. So already when I saw that red bar, I got a little bit impatient. I know that. As a recap, I had 19 shares on average at 6,899. And I sold them in 2 parts, and it averaged at 779. I bought into the share on the 22nd, so it was a Friday, and I sold out completely of my position on a Tuesday, so that was 3 days, and I profited $16.93. So let's see if it was a good play. This was after hours on the 26th, so I sold out of my position already. That high was 848, so it did get through that $8 mark, and it was approaching that 850 mark. Start to consolidate, and let's see. The days after that, the next day it did hit that 915 mark. It did shoot back down and hit a red bar, which I was kind of happy to see because I was out of my position. I didn't get to those profits at the $9 mark, but I did get the profits inside of that big green arrow. So I was happy about that. And sometimes I like to look even further into my stock after a few weeks. So let's see what this one is. So this is the daily chart on the 10th, and I believe that would be 2 weeks after I played this. So the 10th would be about 2 weeks, a week and a half. So that little green bar and the green bar next to it, that's where I had made my plays. And I did miss this section of profits where it hit a high of 1145, but I'm not too upset about it because I did make profits. And if I wanted to buy back into it, I could have, where that 5 was starting to converge on that 13 moving average. Yeah, did switch my moving average from 10 to 13, a little bit more accurate. So I missed that, but not too upset by it. What would I do differently? Probably would have held a little bit longer, watched that daily chart. Even if that 5 did come down to 13 moving average, it would have been safe above me. And I would have been more patient according to the daily chart because the 20 moving average was still moving up. But we'll see what happens in my trades from here. So thanks for watching.